Okay, we're going to get started. I was trying to hold off a little bit to allow a few more people that were scheduled to be on to the stream this evening. Give them a little time to get on. But we're going to get started, you know. One monkey don't stop no show. So we're going to get started. All right. Again, I thank you for coming on to the stream tonight. It's going to be relatively short tonight. You see the topic. I want to address a topic that I found that came up in a lot of conversations that I've had over the last several weeks. And I thought it was a good topic to actually speak on. Some of which will be my opinion, and also a lot of which will be based on stats, data, and statistics. And with that being said, let's get into it. For those of you that think you came on late, you didn't. I waited for you. All right. We're going to get right into it. Get right into it. You see the topic. Men are cost-benefit calculators. Is the cost equal to the benefit when it comes to staying or leaving? Men are cost-benefit calculators. Is the cost equal to the benefit when it comes to staying in a relationship or leaving a relationship? This is what we're going to deal with tonight. Many of you that have watched my streams, that watched it when I was doing it, you've heard me deal with certain character traits that are very necessary in every relationship. Not only is it necessary in every relationship, but it's very necessary in a woman's characteristics from up front if she intends to get the outcomes that she says she wants. And these are those characteristics and these are those traits. Number one, first on the list, which you've heard me always say, fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, easy to get along with. She represents a good experience for a man. Whoever that man is that she meets, she represents a good experience for that man. She's easy to talk to. She doesn't over talk. She's not aggressive in her behavior. She's not loud. She's not insulting. She doesn't tend to be confrontational. She doesn't tend to be combative. She's soft in every way in terms of how she comes across, be it body language or otherwise. She's all well-rounded. She presents a good experience for a man. Those are the characteristics of a woman who's resting easy in her femininity. She's resting comfortably in her femininity. She puts on no fronts. She puts on no airs. She doesn't feel the need to impress. These are characteristics that are very, very, very hard to find. You've heard me say in older streams, I said finding a woman like that is like finding a needle in a field of haystacks. Not just finding a needle in a haystack, but that's like finding a needle in a field of haystacks. In most cases, why do I say that? In most cases, what the modern woman brings to the table of what's called relationships, this is what she brings. She brings a lot of baggage, a lot of attitude, a lot of opinions, very aggressive in her characteristic, very masculine, and her tone. Her tonality is not soft. Her tonality is not feminine. Her tonality is very aggressive, very high-pitched, very loud. And a lot of times she tends to overtalk. She leads with every conversation with "I feel" as opposed to "I think." It's always "I feel." Now I want you ladies that are watching the stream to follow me before you allow yourselves to get triggered. Again, nothing that I say and nothing that I do on any of my streams is about some type of perceived witch hunt where women are concerned. Absolutely not. Me personally, I love women. And I love black women in particular. I have a beautiful black mother. And I have a beautiful group of black granddaughters. So, miss me with that insult. It's not about that. What I would like to see is I would like to see women able to hear talking points, listen to those talking points, and see where the talking point is actually trying to address. What is it trying to address? If it doesn't, there's an old cliche that we used to hear growing up. If the shoe fits, wear it. And if it doesn't fit, then, you've gone to shoe stores before. Shoes that didn't fit you. You didn't concern yourself about shoes that didn't fit you. You were only concerned with shoes that did. So likewise with talking points. You'd always know when the shoe fits because it begins to offend. You start getting triggered in some way because the shoe actually fits. But if it doesn't, then the talking point shouldn't bother you. On the other hand, if you find value in any of the talking points, you know someone who fits these shoes. You know someone who fits these shoes. In every single stream, you know someone, even if it's not you, you know someone who fits these shoes. And for those of you who these shoes fit, that's who I'm talking to. So we're going to get into it tonight. Again, the subject. Men are cost-benefit calculators. Is the cost equal to the benefit when it comes to staying or leaving in a relationship? Who does he find when he finds you? When we meet one another in our day-to-day movements, if you go out on a date, when you go out on the date, how do you present yourself initially from the beginning? For those of you that have what's called an advanced degree, most advanced degrees, ladies who have advanced degrees, more than likely, you're probably single. Because it takes so many years of your time, of your life, just to achieve the advanced degree, that you really kind of don't have a lot of time for social gathering, dating, things of that sort. So with that, it's understood that once you achieve the advanced degree, you're probably more than likely single. How does that affect your personal dating life? And how does it affect your high probabilities of getting the results or the outcomes that you say you want as it relates to marriage and meaningful relationship? It affects it greatly. So you end up getting a good degree. You end up getting a good education, for sure. You graduated from the finest colleges, the finest universities, but when it comes to getting relationships, you find women that have these advanced degrees that have spent a lot of time, whether you've gotten advanced degrees or not. If you spent a lot of years wasted either riding the carousel or just kind of having hot girl summer in your young years, which most ladies are taught by their mothers to enjoy your young years. Don't rush. Don't concern yourself about serious relationship. Concentrate on you. And because you were told to do that, you tend to have wasted most of your 20s, your early 20s all the way into your late 20s, and in a lot of cases right into your early 30s by the time you decide I think I should get serious now about relationship. Now, that poses a bunch of different problems for you when you do that. Number one, you've gone too many years without real solid relationship, which makes it very difficult for you to pair bond. You have your social skills are atrophied. And in some ways, and in a lot of ways, you've become socially awkward once these years get such a space between them. But you're determined now to get into a relationship in your 30s. So you do. You go into a relationship in your 30s. Perhaps 32, 31, 35, or perhaps even later than that. I'm going to explain to you very slowly where the problem comes in with making the decision to get serious that late in your years. And I'm speaking to ladies more importantly. Because your social skills have atrophied, and because your communication skills are deficient, how you communicate with a man has also become deficient. And because it's become deficient now, whoever you meet, if in fact they are marriage-minded, if they're looking at having a long-term committed relationship, in most cases what they find is a woman who may speak as though she's ready, but over time, and I don't mean a long period of time, but over a short period of time, she begins to display behaviors that shows she's really used to being by herself. And here's the problem. When a woman is by herself for a long period of time, she starts to do things independently, such as she may have paid bills on her own. She had no man there to help her pay any of the bills. She had a car note. She paid her own car note. She had nobody to assist her in paying those car notes. She had light bill, gas bill, utilities, or a mortgage. She had no one to assist her in doing that. And then here you come. Here you come. Biology still calls. No matter how independent she is, biology still knocks at her door. What is biology? Biology is her physical need for closeness, for companionship, for relationship. But like I said just previously, her relationship skills have atrophied. Her communication skills are deficient. Her relationship skills are pretty much on the back burner, much less deficient. She doesn't really know how to do relationships. But her biology says, I need closeness, and I need closeness with someone. Here's where the problem comes in at. The cost versus the benefit in a situation like that. With a woman who has gone periods of years taking care of herself, doing for herself, be it personally or be it academically in college. She doesn't have the tools any longer at that point to effectively give herself to a man and become an asset in that respect. So now, she may be beautiful, very attractive. She may be even very successful. She may be eye candy to the man who sees her. But outside of what you see physically, when it gets right down to it, when you begin to communicate, you start finding the layers coming off, one layer at a time. And those layers, as they come off, you start to realize that the cost is too high for many men that run into situations or run into the modern woman who's in these situations. The cost is too high and the benefits are way too low. So he then he has to make a decision now. Do I want to pay this high cost? What is the high cost I'm talking about, that I'm referring to? The high cost of trying to help fix her, or to help, the high cost of dealing with her bad attitude, if that is the case. And mind you, this does not apply to all women. Absolutely not. For those of you that hear this and just want to get triggered for no reason. I'm not talking about all women, but I can generalize. Because the numbers are so high, generalizations are acceptable in conversation and talking points. So, when he meets her, over time, as the layers begin to peel, he starts to see different characteristics and behaviors that come out of her. He finds out that she's very insecure, perhaps. Very clingy, perhaps. Very argumentative. Very confrontational. Very displaying attitudes of jealousy at the slightest thing, no matter what it is. Someone at the counter when you're buying a gallon of milk, the cashier may smile. She's triggered by the smile because now she thinks the cashier is looking at you, meaning you, the man. This is where I'm talking about cost-benefit calculated. Men are cost-benefit calculated. This is the reason why in a lot of cases relationships don't last. Because men are naturally benefit cost calculated by nature. The minute the cost is too high and the benefit in being with you is too low, that's the minute they cash out. That's the minute they cash out. For somebody that have gone to casinos, those of you that know how to stop when you're winning, right? If you find that the machine that you're gambling on, you were winning for a minute, you were winning. You saw the numbers going up, you were winning. You was excited while you were winning, right? But being cost benefit calculated, when you start seeing the machine taking your money back, meaning that you're starting to lose all of what you put in, you start to realize it's not worth investing anymore. So then you may come to the conclusion at a certain point while you're gambling to what? Cash out. So you push the cash out button. That's to quit while you're still somewhat ahead. Quit while you're somewhat ahead. As opposed to losing it all, right? Well, this is how men think by nature. Or ladies, this is how men think by nature. The minute men realize or come to realize, and I'm talking about good men. I'm not talking about Pookie and Nug Nug and Tim Tim. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about marriage-minded men. I'm talking about relationship-minded men. Once they find that the cost to be with you is too high of a cost, and the benefits in being with you are too low if they stay, they make a decision to cash out or otherwise leave. This is what happens. Why? Because like I said, men are cost benefit calculated. They're cost benefit calculated. And in a lot of ways, the human being is cost benefit calculated. No one wants to lose. It doesn't matter how long you sit at the machine losing. All it matters is that you decide at some point to get up from the chair and cash out. If in fact you find that the cost is too high, what could it be costing you? What could it be costing you? It could be costing you, it could be costing him his health. It could be costing him his finances. It could be costing him a lot of things if, in fact, he does not sit at the right machine, i.e., partnership or get into relationship with the right woman. Why? Because men are cost benefit calculated. Are you worth the cost? And is it worth him in dealing with you? Will he get a benefit by being with you? What is the benefit? You know, I've spoken to a lot of young ladies, and you asked this one question. I'm pretty sure some of you ladies have heard it. You've probably been asked it before yourself at some point in your life. What do you bring to the table? A lot of women say, I am the table. I find that to be so funny when I hear women say that. That's hilarious. I am the table. Okay, well, now the next question is, if you're the table, what's on the table? Usually when you have a table, you have something on the table. There's a spread. You've been to your Thanksgiving dinners with your family, right? You've had your Christmas dinners, right? The table has a spread. That means not only is the table present, but there's something on the table that everybody sitting at the table can benefit from, right? Okay, so for those of you that say you're the table, okay, let's go there. If you're the table, and that's all he needs to concern himself with, that you're the table, to prove to him that the cost is worth his purchase, and that the benefit going along with that purchase is worth it as well. Because at the end of the day, ladies, men, we, the consumer of the product, which is you, a female, is the cost worth it? And is the benefits equal to the cost? Or are you costing men more than the benefit, which is what's causing you to not get the outcomes that you say you want in relationships? How many relationships have you ladies been in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? How many have lasted? How many times have some of you ladies been engaged, but yet the relationship was called off? How many of you ladies have been engaged, and after calling off the engagement, you still have the ring from the relationship? How many? I will tell you this, for those of you that still have the ring, you're a thief. But how many of you still have the ring? How many times have you ladies gotten that close and called off your relationships, called off your engagements? How many? Because here's the thing, for some of you that called it off, I'll be quite honest with you, you actually saved his life. But how many more are you going to call off? Is it really worth the cost? For a lot of you ladies with this modern mentality, is it worth the cost? Are the costs and the benefits equal? You know, a lot of situations, a lot of relationships, because they're failing so much in this country, they're just being thrown away like they don't even matter in this country. Now, a lot of men are getting to the point where they've made the decision that the orange is not even worth the squeeze. They've come to that conclusion that the orange is just not worth the squeeze. So, how do we change those dynamics? We already see that it's a problem. Every stream that I do, I talk about the deficiency of relationships, where we're falling short, what we need to do to fix it. You know, the attitudes, behaviors, and what men are attracted to and what they're not attracted to. You know, and the thing about it is, it won't matter how many times I say it, or others that are like me, that are content creators, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, wherever content creators are in this space of what's called the manosphere or the red pill community, where we speak about subject, talking points, and issues as it relates to relationships. and us coming together, dealing with bad behaviors on both sides. I'm not talking about just you ladies, I'm talking about us as well. Oh yeah, I speak to men as well. But while I'm speaking to you, a lot of times these talking points, when it relates to our women, our ladies, are always disregarded by you ladies. So do you want the cost to be worth it when you get into relationships? I mean, don't you believe that he should get something for his investment in you? I mean, after all, at the end of the day, if you're not just looking for a hookup, if you're not simply looking for a one-night stand, if you're not just simply looking to get an itch scratched, if that's not what you're looking for, and you're looking for a real, solid, meaningful relationship, don't you think it's important that he gets what he's investing in? Should not his investment be worth the investment? I mean, would you go to a store and purchase something if you were not concerned about the quality of the product that you were purchasing? I think that you would. And I think any human being would. Would you go to a car dealership to purchase a car and not be concerned at the quality of the car? Or would you just be okay with buying a car because it looks good on the outside, but never concerning yourself about the inner workings of that car, so that you find yourself a victim of buying a vehicle that perhaps may be a lemon, right? You want the Carfax, don't you? You usually want the Carfax when you buy a vehicle from a lot. Well, guess what, ladies? When men choose you, they want to see the facts also. They want to know if the orange is worth the squeeze. They want to know if the cost is equal to the benefit of the relationship. That way they can make a decision as to whether they go forward or not. Right? That's fair. I think you would realize that that's fair, because there's nothing that you've purchased, ladies, in your life that you were not concerned about the quality of the product that you were purchasing. And likewise, men who are the consumer of you, the product, which is a woman, men also want to know that they're getting their life's worth by dealing with you. They want to know that. They want to know that it's important that if they are dealing with you, that if they go to work every day and work 40 plus hours a week, that they can now bring their check home and put it in your hands, and it's worth it because the return, the benefits that they receive from you is going to be worth every single hour, every single ache, and every single pain that they experience during the course of the years that they're with you. This is how we get real about real relationships. We're not talking about, again, hookups. We're not talking about one-night stands. We're not talking about anything like that. We're talking about real relationships that actually mean something. That actually means something. What is that? That's for those of you that want to be married. Now, if you don't want to be married, you just want to hook up every so often, here and there, every now and then, you know, well, okay, that's your choice. That's your choice. And I won't place any judgment on your decision to do that if that's what you choose to do. There's no lasting results to that kind of decision, but if that's what you choose to do, so be it. But I think most people want more than that. I think most want more. Here's the question. I've talked many times in streams about the term submission. And that's probably a very triggering term that most modern women today just really hate to hear. Submission, what? Submission? Because submission has been made such a dirty word. It's been the negative denotation of the word as opposed to the positive connotation of the word. Submission is looked at like a slave would be looked at as it relates to a slave master. So then when you say submit to your husband, it's like, what? I'm not submitting to anybody. All right. Well, I've also said what submission really means. It means cooperation, that's all. That's all it means. Are you able to submit to a husband, to a man, to make the cost worth it? If you can, it's a great benefit. What is your charge for submission? Is there a certain amount of money he needs to make before you're willing to even be cooperative? Or is that something that's hardwired and built in you, or it doesn't exist at all? Because when you come into contact with another man that you choose, that you desire to be in relationship with, if it's not there, it'll be noticeable right away. If you're not cooperative, it'll be noticeable right away. If you're not feminine, it'll be noticed right away. If you're argumentative, it'll be noticed right away. It won't take long. If you're combative, it won't be long before it's noticed. So these things is what makes the cost versus the benefit unequal. And in most cases, it determines two things. It determines whether he stays with you in a relationship, and it also determines whether he leaves. Since like every stream I have that I say we're better together than we are apart, and we just simply are, whether you agree with that or not, we really are. We're better together than we are apart. These things determine whether he stays or whether he goes. That's what they determine. It's never going to change. It's never going to change because we like hearing it, or whether we choose to ignore it or not. Many of you ladies right now are experiencing the difficulties based on what I'm saying in this stream right now tonight. So it doesn't matter whether it's liked, accepted, or whether you even want to hear it. It doesn't matter. Many of you are experiencing everything that I'm saying right now because of either having the traits from the positive side, you're getting good results. That means the cost and the benefit equal or balanced, or you don't have those traits and the cost and benefits are exemplified in the outcomes that you're experiencing right now in your relationships, or they've been exemplified in previous relationships. Okay? So, again, the talking points are meant to help. That's all they're meant to do. At some point, if you go back and play over the streams, you'll find the value in what was being said. So, here's what I would say to ladies that are listening, that watch, either now or after the stream is finished. Are you worth the cost? Are you worth the cost? I know what you told yourself. I know what you tell each other when you're with your girlfriends, and I know. And what you tell, I know what you say, but the conversation had within yourself where no one can hear it is where you have to tell the truth. When you're talking to other people, it's different. We can put on fronts and airs for anybody, but talking to yourself in silence is where the truth really comes out. Are you worth the cost and the benefit? Or does he have to deal with all the other things that break up a relationship, such as your inability to be cooperative, your inability to be non-combative, your inability to be non-confrontational, you living in your masculine and not resting in your femininity? Is that what he has to deal with? If that's you, then you know there's some work to be done. But if that's not you, congratulations. You're probably not receiving the outcomes that are negative. And more than likely, you're probably either already married or you're very close to being married. So this is what this stream was about tonight. If there's what I want to do, as I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, this is going to be a short stream tonight. But what I want to do is, let me see here. All right, give me a second. I want to answer some questions Shout out to Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson has a question. Let me see. How do we advise women that are highly educated to prepare for relationships? Great question. Great question, Fred. How do we advise women that are highly educated to prepare for relationships? You know, that's a good question, man. But unfortunately, I'm going to tell you what happens in most cases. Unless a woman was raised from childhood in a home where her mother or the women in her family raised her to be a wife, literally raised her to be a wife. If she was raised like most of our women are raised, like most women, period, are raised. But black women in particular, they've been raised more or less to think independently, to get a good education, get a good career, secure your career, secure your income, secure your lifestyle. Do all of that so that you don't have to depend on a man. So when you teach a young girl to do that, and then she spends the best years of her life, which is in her early 20s, running through the carousel and listening to what her mother or the women in her family told her to do, such as, girl, you enjoy yourself. Don't you concentrate on no man. Concentrate on yourself. Concentrate on your career. Concentrate on your income. Get yourself established first. Get yourself established. See, a lot of our women have been taught and trained in fear, scarcity, and lack. They've not been trained to depend or to trust a man. They've been trained to fear a man. So it becomes a mentality of us against them. So not men against women, but women, you protect yourself against them. And when you have that kind of mentality, even after you've reached the high levels of education, talking about advanced degrees, I'm talking about master's degrees, PhDs, it's very, very difficult to get a woman at that level to be submissive to a man and to give a man the characteristics that a man requires in a wife. Which is why so often women that are very educated, very highly hold these high advanced degrees, they tend to be single. They really tend to be single. And the only thing that can really help them, to answer your question, Fred, is that they have to go to therapy, man. They have to go to therapy. They have to first they have to recognize that they have an issue with pair bonding. They have an issue with being socially adequate. Many of them have become socially awkward, as I said earlier in the stream. Not only that, but their whole emotions are so detached that it makes it almost impossible for them to emotionally connect in a real relationship. That's why they have this strong, independent, professional kind of office environment mentality when you talk to women that are in those levels of high advanced degrees. The only thing that's going to stop that and bring them to a place where they rest comfortably in their femininity, it's going to take therapy, man. It's going to take therapy. And outside of therapy, sadly, more than likely, they'll probably more often than not, they'll probably end up dying alone, man. Or they'll end up living together in what I call compound living or group living, where you have a group of women that purchase a home together, or they get an apartment or a condo together, and they all kind of move in and have their own respective bedrooms, but they share the responsibilities of the apartment, or they share the responsibilities of the condo or the home. And then they kind of sit on the couch in the weekends when they're all off and they watch Netflix and chill. But pretty much at the end of the day, those are the only two options. Unless they go get therapy. But they have to want to rest in their femininity. They have to first recognize that they're masculine. and that they don't have the traits that make it possible for them to get the outcomes that they say they want as it relates to relationships and marriage. If they don't see it, if they don't see those kind of outcomes, they know they have to do something different. Outside of that, the other two options that I mentioned is pretty much the only thing on the table. That's a very good question though, man. Great question. Shout out to Althea. Shout out to Margaret. Shout out to Gail. Shout out to, again, my friend Fred. Fred H. Johnson. That's my best friend. Man, I'm so happy to see you getting on the stream tonight, brother. Yeah, so if no one else has any more questions, anyone have any more questions? If you do, just put them in the chat box. Let me see. Let's see. All right. Doesn't look like we have any more questions. So with that being said, thank you. I thank all of you for coming on the stream tonight. All of you for coming on the stream tonight. And I will be back again Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And with that being said, I am your host, Charles Chambers, of another episode of Let's Talk About It. And we are out. Have a good night, folks. See you Wednesday night, 9 p.m.